If you've ever been to a conference or a seminar before, you spent an entire weekend there and you got no results, I know why. It's because you didn't transform something unconsciously. And I always explain this whenever I'm speaking at my own events or at someone else's event as a guest. I talk to them and I let people know this is how you're going to get a long-lasting, permanent change. The one thing I specialize in is helping people get massive changes so they can make the revenue or income they want to make, have the relationships they desire, and be as healthy as possible. But if you want to make $250,000 a week, you want to make $500,000 a week, if you want to really go to the next level, you're going to really have to change things unconsciously to make sure that you are aligned with that vision. I have clients that are making $20, $30 million a month right now. I have clients that are making billions of dollars a year. And I can tell you the thing that's different between them and someone who is barely scraping by is their mindset. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to quickly change your mindset. I'm going to give you specific tools that you will use along your journey that will help you go to the next level. Whether you're making millions already or you're just starting off, you're going to really enjoy this video. Hi guys, how you doing? So the number one thing we're going to work on today, obviously, is mindset. But in order to make sure that everyone gets the transformation I want you to have, we're all about participation. So when I ask you to raise your hand, I expect 100% participation. When I say yes, if you agree, say yes. If you don't, obviously don't. But I agree, I believe everyone here wants to make more money, right? Say yes? I wasn't 100% participation, so let's make sure everyone follows instructions. Do we all want to make more money? Say yes. Yes. All right, so a lot of people come to conferences, and what ends up happening? You come here, you learn, you study, you go home, and nothing changes. And the reason nothing changes is because you might have some momentum leaving here, but you didn't actually change the thing unconsciously, which was holding you back in the first place. Most people are so logical. They're like, hey, let me focus on the strategy. Let me focus on how we're going to get this done. The exact process, the formula. The formula is not an actual strategy because at the end of the day, I could tell you exactly how to work out, exactly how to eat, and if you don't go to the gym and put in 100% effort, you're not going to get the same results. You could have perfect form and someone could lift 5-pound weights, someone else could lift 225 pounds weights. It's just a completely different mindset that gets you to where you want to go. Now, I don't know if you're just starting off, you're at 8 figures, multiple 8 figures. I work with clients who are billionaires, celebrities, people who are just starting off. I work with all kinds of people, and I can tell you right now, the number one thing that's going to get you to move the needle in your company, your business, your personal life is going to be your mindset. But not just your mindset. How can you change your mindset anytime you need it, instantly, so you can be effective and align your goals with your programming? Now, here's the thing. We have two parts of the mind. Do we have a marker here? There they are. Awesome. So we have two parts of our mind. I'll make this so simple. So we have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. Now, your conscious mind makes up less than 1% of your mind. Actually, it's even less than that, but we'll just be generous and say that it has some kind of power. A lot of people say it makes up 20% of your mind. Well, I could tell you now, I've hypnotized tens of thousands of people, not just one-on-one, in groups, all the time. It's nonsense. You have no conscious power at all. I could literally hypnotize someone to do anything, and that's the craziest thing to say, but it's true. You oftentimes think it's your own idea, your own thoughts that are holding you back, but it's not true. Someone programmed your brain. So what happens is, from age 0 to 8, whether you like to believe it or not, whether you believe in hypnosis or not, welcome to the facts. It is 100% real. Everyone can be hypnotized, whether you like it or not, whether you're open to it or not, you're always being hypnotized. And I can tell you right now, literally, if you're not aware of this, things are going to prevent you from going to the next level because they're going to be programming you to not go there. You think your competition doesn't know this, but here's the thing. If you ever watch social media, if you're ever on any of these apps, they have artificial intelligence designed to literally constantly give you what you want, to keep you on the app, to target you. Like, I don't know if any of you guys run ads. I'm assuming most of you do, right? So if you're running ads, let's just say you're using Facebook as a platform instead of Amazon. A lot of people use Amazon, which is why they fail. It's their only stream of income, their only lead source. I think you guys have to expand to Facebook and other platforms as well. But let's just say you're using Facebook. Facebook has one of the most advanced artificial intelligence marketing systems in the world. So people are like, hey, let me target a demographic, 20 to 40, of Caucasian ethnicity. And they're all Catholic. Well, guess what? That's not how it works. The way it works, you could be short, tall, fat, skinny, small, large, old, young. It targets mindsets. So the archetype is a profile of someone's personality, not how they look. And that's how advanced it is. So you'll get on the phone with someone to close them, for example, and you'll have the same objection from someone who's young, someone who's old, opposite gender, different ethnicity, different cultural background, because the AI is so advanced. They understand this to a science. And if you don't understand how to protect your mind and change what's in there, you're always going to be a victim of the things that are constantly affecting you and influencing you. Now, I'll show you how strong this is later on, but I just want you guys to realize your brain is constantly being programmed. So from age 0 to 8, you're the most susceptible to this. Your brain is in a brainwave state called theta. What state? What state? Theta. Everyone, I know what the room sounds like when everyone participates. What state is it called? Repeat it. Theta, there we go. All right. So we have literally, that's hypnosis. So your brain is being programmed. You have positive and negative associations. Your parents tell you money's good. Your parents tell you money's bad. And that's going to stick in there forever. So what hypnosis does, as an example, which I'm going to teach you how to do this for yourself, goes in there and it reprograms a negative association to money and says, I'm going to make a lot of money. Now, what does a negative association look like? It could look like anything. Oh, you know, making 10 million is my goal. If that's your goal and that's what you put on a pedestal, well, you're never going to pass that. If your goal is $1 billion, if your goal is 100 million, you might say it's not realistic. No one's ever done it before. I don't know enough. I'm not experienced enough. I don't have enough time. It's all nonsense. These are all limiting beliefs. I'm telling you, it takes the same exact amount of time to make a $100 million business as it would to make a $1 million business. Even if you're using Amazon, it does not matter. The difference is going to be how big you think. And the mental barriers that are going to stop you are going to prevent you from scaling your business. And I'm telling you now, it's not your SOP that's preventing you, it's your pattern of focus. I'll show you exactly how this works. So let's say, who here believes they have phenomenal memory? Raise your hand. We got one. Anyone else? Two. We got 2 people in the entire room that believe they have good memory. I'm going to show you where you're wrong. Memory, by the way, is not a conscious act. It's a subconscious act. If you trust your memory and you learn how to memorize things effectively, like you look at people who win world championships in memory, they're not winning it because it's just, oh yeah, they look at it and they're like, yeah, I have a photograph and that's how I do it. That's not how they do it. They have a different pattern of focus. If you were to interview them, you would be like, wait, how are they memorizing this? You would ask them, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So, right now, I'll ask you guys to just briefly look at this 1 digit at a time and try and memorize this number. Who has it memorized? Everyone. I'll tell you one sentence now that'll make every single person in the room know this number by heart. It's in increments of 10, 23, 33, 43, 53. Who has it memorized? Raise your hand. Who has it memorized? Raise your hand if you memorize it. Everyone. It's a pattern. It's a pattern of focus. If you look at it 1 digit at a time, this is impossible to memorize. It'll take you a lot longer because it's a lot less effective. This is how success works. Most people are focused on things or they look at the same opportunity, but because they're not looking at it the right way, they fail. So when you have the right mindset, not only do you see things much clearer, but it becomes a lot easier to do. So let's just say we're talking about making more money. A lot of people might look at an opportunity and say, no, that's not a good one. I'm scared I'm going to fail. Your pattern of focus is focused on the negative outcome rather than the positive outcome. How many of us can relate to that? Raise your hand. Well, that's because fear is taking over. There's a part of our brain called the mammalian brain, right? And we have fight or flight. So you're going towards something, you're going to fight it, or you're running away from something. Fight in stress might look like you confronting someone, or your bills are showing up, you're extremely stressed, you don't know what to do, you got to go sell your car, right? These are all things that would be fight. Flight would be, oh, I'm not going to start my business today. Let me go learn a little bit more. Let me go to a couple more conferences. Let me go study a couple more online courses before I take action. Time is the most valuable resource in the world. If you don't take advantage of your time, you will never get to where you want to go. I'm telling you guys now. You have to reprogram your mind. That is the shortcut to success. Because there's a path that looks like this. Most people will do this before they get to the same outcome because their brain doesn't let them see it. Now, I'll tell you how powerful this is. When you hypnotize someone, you can literally hypnotize them to believe they're on the moon. I can make you think you're on the moon. I can make you think I'm someone I'm not. I can literally change my gender to you. I can make myself invisible. That is what your brain does. Now, that is based off of the beliefs I put into your mind in that moment when you're in trance. But guess what happens when you come out of trance? If those beliefs remain, then you see the world the same way. So if you have certain beliefs in your mind, that's how you're going to see the world. You see the world through a certain lens. And that lens either makes you extremely successful or not. And this is the difference between where you are today and where you want to be. It's not that you just started. That's the difference. The difference is that you haven't changed your mindset yet to align yourself with the outcome you want. How many of us have heard this? If you truly want something, like you hear Conor McGregor in an interview, you hear Jim Carrey talk about it. They all say how they visualize themselves where they wanted to be first, before they got there. Like there's a famous interview with Jim Carrey on like a late night TV show, and he says he wrote himself a $10 million check, and he dated it 3 years from the date that he wrote it. And he'd go in LA, and there's a very famous view on Mulholland Drive, and he would sit there, and he would look at this view, and he would visualize himself making this money, being a very famous actor. And about 3 years to date, for that check, which he had folded up in his wallet, at this point it's faded, he got a $10 million check for Dumb and Dumber. And he actually made the goal happen. Now, he knew where he was going, he knew when he was going to get there, and he was consistent in his focus. Those three things are the formula to success. A destination, an outcome, a deadline, so you know exactly when it's going to happen, and consistently focusing on that. Here's what focus looks like. Most people start a business. When you start a business, are you excited or are you not excited? We're all pretty excited, right? We're focused on how we're going to make some money, right? If you're excited, you're starting a business or you have a business and you want it to work, you see it improving, raise your hand if you'd be excited. Right. Now, all of a sudden, you just spent $10,000 in ad spend. That was your whole savings, $100,000, whatever it is, depending on your level. And you are negative quite a bit of money. And you're like, holy shit, I quit my job. I'm out of my savings. What am I going to do now? Where's your focus go? Does it go to the thing you want, which is, let's say, outcome A, it's a positive outcome, or the thing you don't want, which is failure? It starts focusing on this. Now when you focus on this, guess what happens to everything else? Your emotions change. So now I feel stressed out. And when I'm stressed out, my brain isn't becoming resourceful anymore. It's in a state of stress. So now, instead of your brain operating at 100% efficiency to become resourceful, to find the thing you need to make it work, it's focused on failure, and it creates failure. You see, your brain doesn't get what it wants. It gets what it focuses on. So whatever you can focus on for long periods of time for is exactly what you get. You get into a relationship. It's going amazing. You just met the person. You tell your friends about them. You're like, this is great. You go on a date, a second date, a month. You're chasing them. Finally, you guys are dating. You're in this sweet honeymoon phase. Something triggers you. You have a fight. Focus shifts. You're not focused on how it's going to work anymore. You're focused on how it's going to end, how they're going to hurt you, how this isn't going to work out. You don't see them in the same lens anymore. Now, you're not happy. You're not grateful. You're not appreciative in the relationship. You ruin the relationship. Your relationship with others is the same as your relationship with your business. If you are not consistent with your business will fail. I don't care how big or small your business is. Your ability to stay in the right emotions and focus is essential. So I'm going to put you guys in a peak state. What I do here, I do this at all my events. My seminars, the cheapest one is $5,000 a person. And I have a lot of people come. So I do this to everyone at my seminar. Because when you're feeling bad, you've got to get out of that state. Oftentimes we feel bad. It takes people weeks or months to get back in the right headspace. Unfortunately, if you're a business owner or you're running ads and you're doing something, this is not going to work. You're going to go out of business. We have to be fast, okay? Especially if you have a deadline, you want to make it, right? We got to be quick. So I'm going to have everyone stand up. Everyone stand up. Let's go. Come on, quick. All right. So here's what we do. This is called getting in a peak state. A lot of people don't think this is going to work. Like, it's a bunch of voodoo. If you're telling that to yourself, you're obviously not going to get in this state. That's literally a limiting belief. That is a program telling you don't get out of your comfort zone, which is the very thing stopping you from actually making more money. So a peak state looks like this. I'm going to get in the peak state. Whoa, let's go! Bam! If I'm feeling down, I'm telling you right now, I'm not fucking down, right? So imagine you're not in the mood to start getting on ads. You're like, I'm not in the mood to go to the gym. I'll tell you right now, you get in a peak state, you'll be in a mood to do anything. A lot of people are going to be like, no, I can't do that. That's your insecurity. And in a peak state, your confidence goes to 100 out of 10. So I'm going to count to 3. When I do, I want everyone to get in a peak state. Are we ready? Are we ready? Do we want to make more money? Say yes. Do we want to make more money? Say yes. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Woo! No, louder, guys. Wait. Woo! Money, please. That's not how it works. You guys got to get out of it, all right? I'm going to count to 3 again. You should lose your voice. I'm losing my voice up here for you. Here, everyone has water. Take a sip so no one hurts their vocal cords. Are we ready? Are we ready? Yeah! 1, 2, 3, let's go! Woo! No, why is it so slow? Guys, don't stop. 1 second. It's like you're the 1 second wonder. What is this? Can you imagine some of you guys in the bedroom? Holy shit. All right, ready? 1. Hey, if I tell you to stop, that's when you stop. All right? 1, 2, 3. Now let's go. Woo! Louder! Woo! All right, good. Have a seat. Now, how's everyone feeling? We're feeling better. So, we're going to take a minute here, really briefly. In this state, I want you guys to set a goal. If the goal is anything less than 10 million, don't even write it down, okay? Please. People are going to tell you it's hard to make money, we're going into a recession. It's literally the best time to make money. You know who knows that? All the people telling you that we're going into a recession. The richest people in the world got richer in 2020. That was the greatest wealth transfer in the history of the world. You know why? Because they knew it was a great opportunity. So I don't care what you guys think. I'm telling you now, we're going into the greatest opportunity in the world to make more money. I literally 20x my business in 2020. All my fellow colleagues, all my friends went out of business. I'm telling you, the difference between me and them is I saw the opportunity, they didn't. They fell into the trance of, oh no, we're going to recession, I need to contract, go into scarcity, really get scared. And then what does that create? That creates the wrong habit, the wrong behavior, and the wrong focus. So right now, briefly, everyone, write down your goal and a deadline, right? So we're going to write down what we want. I'm not saying what you think you can get. I think I can make 100,000 in 2 years. No. What do you want to make? $1 billion, 100 million, whatever it is. I'm telling you now, it's a lot easier than you think. So quickly, just write down your goal. We'll take a minute, and then we'll share it with our partner. Any questions on that so far? Who wrote a goal smaller than 10 million? Thank God. All right, everyone has a goal? Yeah. Everyone has a deadline? Yeah. Whose deadline's longer than 2 years from now? The goal better be massive. What's your goal? 50 million. 50 million by when? 3 years. Okay, that's not bad. 3 years is okay. All right, what's your goal? 1 billion by when? 4 years. 4 years? Good. I like it. By the way, if I don't reach my goal in 4 years or 5 years, but my goal was big, where do you think I'll end up in 4 or 5 years? A lot further than where I am now. Because if I want to make $1 million business, I'm going to think about a product that's going to make me $84,000 a month. If I want to make a $10 million business a year, I'm going to think about a product that's going to make me $33,000 a day. So in 2.5 days, I'm now making what I would make in a month. I now think different. My product is more expensive. I'm finding ways to market to a different audience. And guess what? The more money you charge, the more expensive your business, the bigger the goal, the easier it is to manage. It is a lot harder to have a business that you're worried about day-to-day bills. How am I going to cover my expenses? Right? Where you make 1 sale, 2 sales, and it's not even breaking even, than 1 sale that makes you profitable for the next 6 months. It is a very different mindset. It is much easier to sell one $47,000 product than 47 at 1,000 at 47. All right? So I want you guys to find a partner next to you. Just briefly share your goals so you guys see that it's not just you thinking big now. I want you to realize, at this seminar, some of you are going to leave, and some of you guys are going to actually pursue this goal. Some of you are going to leave, and a lot of you guys will be like, this is a bunch of nonsense. What the hell? This guy's on crack. What's he think? There's no way. That's impossible. Me, I don't know enough, and you're going to literally shoot yourself in the foot. So my goal is to make sure as few of you as possible leave here with that mindset. So if I tell you guys, hey, I don't want to be fat, that's not a goal that's going to get me ripped. If I tell you, hey, I don't want to be broke, that's not a goal that's going to get me wealthy. You need to be crystal clear on what you want. And it's not just the number. I could have a business that's making me $50 million a year, but then what? It's breaking even. I'm losing money, right? It's not profitable. So it's not just the number. It's also the lifestyle that comes with that. So I could say, hey, I want to live in a mansion. I want these cars. I want to travel. I want to be able to have this much money in my pocket. I want to be able to invest in other things, right? The clearer that image gets, not only the more motivated you're going to be, but now, if I put that in my head, I start to see it. I'll give you an example. There's a part of your brain called the Reticular Activation System, RAS for short. I go buy a new car, all right? I buy a blue Honda Civic. Now I'm driving on the freeway, and all of a sudden, everyone's got a blue Honda Civic. Anyone ever experienced something like this? Why? Because it's supposed to be in your reality. Your brain is now programmed to say, hey, this blue Honda Civic is in my life. It's supposed to be in my life. So now my pattern of focus is, let me see these things. If I want to make more money, or I set a bigger goal, my brain will now say, hey, notice this, this, and this. They were right in front of me the whole time. But I never saw it. And the reason you never saw it is because you never had the right mindset. Now, a lot of people overcomplicate this. I'm going to make it so simple for you. I'm going to give you a different lens on how you feel and why you feel that way. So emotions are not emotions, right? We see someone crying. We see someone laughing. We see someone mad. We look at that and we go, huh, this person's feeling something. I should feel bad for them or whatever. Don't. It's all a strategy. Now, this sounds sociopathic, but unfortunately, we are just walking meat sacks with different emotions, okay? Emotions make you take action, and they make you see the world a certain way. So your brain goes, well, which emotion should I feel here, right? I'm walking outside, and I park my car with valet. I go to the valet when I finish dinner, and the valet is smiling. He's in a great mood. What does he want? He wants a tip, right? So he knows that the strategy to get a bigger tip that's probably been rewarded is to be in a great mood, which is probably realistic. That's probably smart. But you go to a restaurant, someone's in a horrible mood. Oh, here's your food. You call them over. They just look at you. They ignore you. You know, anyone have that experience? You go to a restaurant. It's like, hey, server, can I get extra ketchup, please? Right? They're getting a big tip, right? Anyways, point is different strategies are more effective at producing results and different emotions. Positive emotional states are much more effective at getting you towards your goals than feeling stressed, mad, envy, jealousy, sadness, depressed. All that states you should avoid. So we look at emotion, right? Let's imagine a car, right? So emotions put things in motion. I'm an artist, okay? That's a fucked up car, but let's just pretend it looks good. It's got 2 wheels. It's impressive. All right. Attention. And then we'll say. Okay. So we have an intention. We all set a goal. We're like, this is what I want out of this interaction. This is what I want from this outcome, okay? So let's say you walk into Starbucks and you want a coffee, but you're short $1. There's no one else to borrow from. You don't have your wallet on you, and you really want this coffee. When you go up to the counter, you have a few options. Now, how many of you guys immediately would be like, I'm not getting coffee? Raise your hand. That's a strategy, right? That's your strategy. How many of you guys would be like, let me give them a sob story. Let's feel a little bit sad so they feel bad for us. Raise your hand. How many of us would try to be in an amazing mood and be like, hey, you know, maybe they'll like me enough to give me that $1? Raise your hand. right? So these are all different strategies. Your brain is hardwired to figure out what emotion or strategy do I implement in this situation to produce an outcome. This is called emotional intelligence. People who are emotionally intelligent know what emotion to feel in certain moments, right? We look at two people in a relationship. They're fighting. When does the argument end? It ends when someone decides to change their state. When someone says, no, I'm not mad anymore. Look, I love you. I'm sorry. They change their state. Argument ends because the strategy changed, right? So it's all about strategy. We talk about strategizing. We're so focused on the logic. I don't care if you have the blueprint. With the wrong mindset, you're never going to get the result. So we all know intention. All of us are familiar with this. Here's where we fuck up. Your emotion. So the strategy we tend to implement, most people, and this is a very low-hanging fruit. How easy is it to get mad? It's pretty easy. The reason we feel mad is because anger is a state that arises when we want to change something. Something's not going the way we want it, we want to change it. That is the strategy. It is inherently programmed into you. Anger is also an intimidation strategy, right? So if we're scared or we want to gain control, we feel we're losing control of something, so we want to change it, we want to control it, you feel mad. Anger is usually the most, literally the least effective strategy. It is not effective, it makes people not like you, and it makes you look like you're 3 years old. So, anger, you feel angry, realize you're a 3-year-old, it's a 3-year-old running in your brain, right? So, I get something I don't like, what's a really good emotion to feel? Someone pisses me off. I have two options. I can be mad or I can crack a joke, right? If I crack a joke, I change their perception. So let's just say we have a variety of emotions to feel, negative and positive. And you'll see why this is important shortly, right? Well, what happens when I'm feeling a negative emotion? Well, the fuel tank of this car is my RAS, where my focus goes. So your brain consciously can only process around 150 bits of information every second. That's about 7 plus or minus 2 things. A phone number, a license plate, not that much. Your brain cannot process that much. Okay? So we think we're all superhumans. We're not. You're right now listening to me. This is taking up your entire conscious attention and even some of your unconscious focus. Now, if someone out of nowhere screamed out your name, a bomb went off in the room, you guys would all be like, what's that? Because your subconscious is always paying attention. This is why you want to make sure your subconscious mind is programmed to get what you want. And the only way to make sure it'll see what you want is to feel the right emotion. So, if I'm in a negative state, I could be in love with someone, and you might even be telling yourself, I shouldn't be mad at them, this is wrong. But your brain doubles down and says, no, I'm mad because of A, B, C, right? And it finds all the things that are wrong. It'll remember something from 5 years ago and be like, yeah, you did that. Remember we talked about this 450 times? Right? That's because your RAS needs evidence, fuel, for this emotion. So most people are programmed and wired to find fuel for the wrong strategies. We're constantly fueling the wrong mindset, right? We're constantly feeding our brain the wrong evidence, which is why we fail. If you want to actually become more successful, you must fuel your brain with positive states. This isn't positive thinking. This is a positive pattern of focus. Positive thinking is fake. It's like, I'm mad, but no, life's great. You're lying. You're lying to yourself. If I feel mad, it means I'm focusing on something unconsciously that's making me mad. So I got to focus on something more positive. Usually, this is the outcome. Most people are focused on what's happening. They're reactive. If someone says something, they're reactive. If I focus on the outcome, I have control. Any questions so far? I know I'm saying a lot. None? Great. So, now I want you guys to pay attention to one thing. It's not that this ever changes. The intention is usually always positive. When we are talking to someone, right, we're meeting someone, we're in a relationship with someone, we don't want to hurt them because we want to hurt them. You want to hurt them because you want them to understand you, so then they don't hurt you. Or you want to hurt them before they hurt you. Or you want to fight with them and yell at them so they stop doing the thing that hurts you. It's always a positive intention, no matter how disgusting the behavior. There's always a positive intention. Now, the strategy could be absolutely ridiculously stupid, and they totally ruin the relationship or the business. But the intention's always positive. So, now knowing that, we look at that, we're paying attention to that, you must change your strategy. You must update the software. How many times have you seen your phone update itself? Or you have a PlayStation or an Xbox? Updates every day, right? If I go to play Call of Duty, I'm not on it for a week, and I don't play that often, but if I do go play, I gotta wait 12 hours because they decided there's a new update. And there's no changes, none. But everything's always updated. If you have software on your phone, an application, they update it 500 times. Literally, it's always updated. But most people, they don't update their software, so they fail. Now, unfortunately, if you didn't get good software when you came into this world, and you grew up in a good home, well, then you're fucked. Until you do this. So, here's how you change it, and this is why this is important. I'm starting here, okay? This is where I'm at. Again, I'm an amazing artist, I know. Here's my goal. Now, I have a path. Here's 1 month, let's say 6 months, 1 year. The strategy that gets me from here to here might be different than the strategy that gets me from here to here, and the strategy that gets me from here or to my goal. So you constantly need to update. What got you to 7 figures isn't going to get you to 8. What got you to 8 figures isn't going to get you to 9, right? And you have to realize if you're not changing and adapting, things change in the environment all the time. I can't control what's happening out here, but I can control my reaction to it, the way I look at it, right? If we understand that, say yes. So how do we control it properly? Well, first of all, something happens. Most people react. You don't think. I have a pet monkey. For those of you who don't know, I have a capuchin. Now, that's like the monkey you see in the movies, like the small monkey. Now, he bites. He's a dick. You know, he's a fucking monkey. And a lot of people I see have the same emotional intelligence of a monkey. I go to pet my monkey. He gets mad. He bites me. Then he feels bad, and he bites his tail because he regrets biting me. But he bites me before he feels bad. So he'll act and then think about it and then regret it. Human beings should not act and then regret it. They should think about it, decide, then make the action. But I don't mean sit there in your room. 2 months go by. I'm going to go talk to my friend about starting my business. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something happens, you must decide. If all of a sudden you have a business, this happened to me. I have my business, out of nowhere, ad account got shut down. Okay, our overhead is insane. We're like at $600,000 a month. I have payroll. I have all these things coming up. And we were scaling, so there wasn't any profit margin. There was no savings. Every cent went back into the business. I have less than a week to figure it out, or we're completely screwed. How do you think I'm going to feel immediately? The reaction. Good or bad? I feel like shit. I felt so stressed. I was like nauseous. I was like, this fucking sucks. You know? You're like, shit, what am I going to do? But then I'm like, no. Got in a peak state. You guys are going to be like, no, you didn't. No, I did. I'm in my room like, I'm mad, so I'm like, I might as well use it to get me in state, you know, use as momentum. And I'm like, ooh. I don't lose my voice. I'm not doing it, right? And then what? And then I'm like, okay, I became more resourceful. I found ways around it. We found a solution, and we even fixed it so it doesn't happen again. Now, the thing that's stopping you is your ability to be resourceful. Resourceful means you find the answer. There's always an answer. There's always a way. How many of us want to start a business? Like if I said, hey, guys, make $1 million by midnight tonight. What's the first question that pops up? Don't say it out loud, but what's the first question? This is the number one thing that's going to make you fail. How? How many of us stop at how? Most people stop at how. I say, how are you going to make $1 million today? I don't know. How? Laziness. You're lazy to think about the solution. You sit there and you're like, I'm going to think about it for 10 minutes. Give up. It's not possible. If you say it's not possible, you just close the door. Most people don't think about it. Now, if I'm trying to find a solution and it's not working, it means my emotion is not correct. How many of us get in a really good mood and then all the problems we had, solution instantaneously? Raise your hand if you've had that experience. You don't know what you're going to do. You get in a great mood. You get in a great mood and then bam, solution. Why does this happen? This happens because you changed your emotional state. So now your brain, your RAS says, I could find the answer. Because here's how you change it. Here's the hack. You focus on the positive outcome. So there are 3 things that control how you feel all the time. 3 things. How many of us have seen this example before? Great. Wow. That sucks. Good for you, though, because it'll change your life. All right. This is physiology. Excuse my writing. Meaning. Yeah, I'll explain that in a minute. Here we go. Okay. So, these 3 things create a state. Name an emotion. Shout it out. Someone name an emotion. Happy. All right, happy, joy, perfect. When you're happy or you're joyful, you're focused on what? You're focused on things in your life that are going well, right? We're focused on things that make us smile. Smile. What is smiling? Your physiology. What I'm doing with my body, right? So if I'm smiling, I'm walking around, I'm looking at the sunshine, I'm feeling great, I'm focused on things that are moving forward, I'm going to feel good. Because the meaning I'm giving it is, wow, this is great. This is an amazing day, right? That's what I'm telling myself. And that creates an emotion. Now, let's say I get depressed. I'm sad. I'm focused on everything that's wrong rather than what's right. I have no gratitude, no appreciation, none whatsoever. My physiology, I'm probably looking down. I'm unhappy, right? And then we got meaning. Now, physiology is more than just your posture. It's also what you put into your body. If I just went to a rave and I did a bunch of drugs, which I hate drugs, but I've never done them in my life, but let's just say you did, and I just did Molly, ecstasy, and I come back and I have no dopamine left in my brain, my physiology is going to actually control my focus and the meaning I give the world. And I'm going to feel depressed because I just changed my physiology. Physiology is one of the most underrated things when it comes to your emotion. That's why when I had you guys stand up and get in a peak state, what ended up happening? You all felt good, even if it was temporary. The problem is most people aren't used to feeling like that. So they go back to their default emotion, which is usually a negative or neutral state, not a productive, outgoing, confident, powerful state. You haven't practiced that. Because most people get into that state and your friends are like, you're weird. What are you doing? Chill. Why are you talking like that? Don't put yourself out there. Your idea is whack. What are you thinking? Right? All these people are going to start attacking you because as you start to climb the ladder, people are like, no, 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 no. Why do they get to do that and I don't? And then they try to pull you down. So you need to make sure you're in the right environments as well. Right? An environment like this, would you guys say it's a productive environment? Yes, everyone wants to grow. But you're around friends, family. Think about it. How many of us have friends or family or people we're close to that are not supportive? Now, even if they have positive intention, which you'd like to believe most of them do, some of them don't, right? Well, if they're not good for your mindset, they shouldn't be around you. I don't care if they're blood. I don't care if it's your wife or your husband. You should correct it. Start with a conversation, and if it's not a conversation, leave the door. You're not in jail, okay? Now, here's the key. We look at our state. You look at the outcome, right, your goal. You look at where you're at, whatever problems you have. Your problem's all in your head. Right? You take someone who's a veteran. Like how many times have you had a problem in your life and it somehow worked out? Raise your hand if you've had that happen. You didn't know where you're going to make the money. You didn't know how things would work out. It was stressing you out. But yet you found a solution, even if it was at the last second. So if you knew you'd find the solution anyways, why the fuck were you stressing it? Because your brain's telling you to, because that's your strategy. And then guess when you found the solution? You found it anyways. You found it. It always works out. So if you know it'll always work out anyways, why would I go into a negative state? I wouldn't. And that's the wisdom you'll get as you get older. It always works out. Literally, I don't care how much I have to make. What's happening in my life? Fuck it. You know, literally. Everyone say it out loud. Fuck it. Out loud, everyone, come on. Thank you. Right? That's it. There's a problem? Fuck it. You know? I'll find a solution. A lot of people are going to be like, no, I shouldn't say that. Does that mean I avoid the problem? No, you face the problem, but the problem, fuck it. Exactly. It's not a big deal. Most people look at a problem and they're like, holy shit. Yeah, I have this one friend. He comes to me, he's like, bro, you don't have no idea what the fuck happened today. I'm like, what happened? Like that. Like, you have no idea what happened. I'm like, dude, what happened? Like, you good? He's like, no, you have no idea. I'm like, all right, tell me. By the time he starts the story,
by the time he explains it, he went to Starbucks. Literally, I swear to God, I brought this example twice, so it almost seems kind of ridiculous. But he went to Starbucks. He met a girl he liked. He asked her for her number. She said yes. And then she came back to him and said, actually, no. Can you delete my number? And then left. And he's like, dude, this was the worst day of my life. What's wrong with me? Did I do anything wrong? And I'm like, bro, chill. Fuck it. Right? Anyways, point is, he's like a hypochondriac. Everything's a big deal. Everything's crazy. Everything has to be dramatic. Guys, nothing's a big deal. You look at someone like, I don't know, let's just say you're the president of the United States, okay? Putin decides to invade Ukraine. Now you're like, shit. Well, we going to World War III, are we not? Right? Then you can't just say fuck it, all right? That's a much bigger problem. I promise you our problems aren't that bad. Like any problem, literally, doesn't matter. I had a client, actually recently. So she comes to me. I've been seeing her for a year. This was early in my career, and I'll tell you the outcome that I had with her recently. So early in my career, she comes to my office. She sees me every day, and I actually took her on for free because she didn't have any money at the time. And I didn't care. I just loved her. She was like older. You know, she was always complimenting me, saying, you're so sweet, helping me. And I was just like, all right, let's practice. And she comes in one day, and she's like pale, like white. And I'm like, what's up? What's wrong? She's like, today's a bad day. I go, no, it's not. I had a great day. And she goes, no, today's a bad day. I'm like, no, today's a pretty, I have like glassy, and I'm like, look, it's a pretty great day. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like, why? She's like, went to the doctor, and he said I have cancer. And I'm like, okay, and? You'll be fine. She's like, no, he said it's stage 3 cancer. I said, okay, are you dead? She goes, I'm not dead. And I said, you're fine. You'll be good. And I was making fun of her the whole time. I'm like, hi, you got cancer, you know, just cracking jokes the whole time. And she starts laughing. By the end of the thing, she's in the greatest mood ever, and she's laughing at the fact. Every time someone says the word cancer, I literally hypnotize her to laugh, right? Because obviously if you're in a negative state, your stress goes up, cortisol levels rise, your immune system's suppressed, it's going to be pretty bad for you. So I mean, best strategy in that situation. Is it to be stressed and miserable? Probably not. You want to have a positive outlook because one way or another, if you're going to die, you might as well be happy, right? So I hypnotize her. She ends up getting her breast cut off and all this, and she comes and she's like, yeah, you know, I had the surgery. She has no breast now. And, you know, her bag is like super heavy. I don't know what's in it. She's like, can you move my bag for me? I can't bend over. I'm like, sure. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why is it so heavy? Are your breasts in here? Like, you know? I'm just cracking jokes with her the whole time. She has no hair. I'm like, I like this look on you. You know? I like that you change it up. She's like, well, I didn't do this by choice. I'm like, oh, was it your hairdresser's idea? You know? And I'm just cracking jokes the whole time. Point is, I changed the meaning. I made fun of her so much, and I made it such a small thing that she was in a good mood, and now she's completely cancer-free. She's great. And I'm not saying it's because of me, but I am telling you that, look, there's something called the placebo effect, there's something called the nocebo effect. Most people don't talk about the nocebo effect. Nocebo is the opposite of the placebo. If you tell someone they have cancer, they don't have cancer, how are they going to feel? Pretty stressed, pretty bad. Immune system goes to shit, sleep goes to shit. All these things that can actually make you sick happen, and then you're more likely to get sick. So believe it or not, how you feel actually changes more than you think. The placebo effect, what is that? It means that you could literally believe that you have the cure to something and immediately feel better. Immediately, just because you believe it. Your mind is a lot more powerful than you think. It's making your heart beat. I can literally slow down my heart. I can hypnotize someone on stage. I don't have a blood pressure monitor. If anyone does, I would show you. I'd put it up on the screen. I do this in my seminars. And I hypnotize them to the point where they can't, where they cannot even see their blood pressure. Right? They can't even see it because they're so relaxed, right? The reason this happens is because you have a lot more control over your mind than you think. So, when we're wrapping this up, what does this mean? It means you need to be aware of your physiology. For example, if you're in car sales, right, and you're signing the deal, I guarantee you, anytime someone makes a decision, anytime, even you're leaning forward. So if I get someone to lean forward, I sit next to them because I want to sign a contract, and we all lean forward, they're going to make a decision. Because that's the physiology of decision making when you're sitting down. Right? You look at someone, and all of a sudden a man, he's standing like this, he's covering his testicles. He's insecure, or he's uncomfortable. Right? Even if it's one hand. If a girl's covering her uterus, same thing, uncomfort. Covering her stomach. It could be cold, it's context dependent, it could be because their stomach hurts. But oftentimes it's because they're uncomfortable. They're protecting their reproductive organs. It's a biological thing. So body language is very connected to how you think. How I perceive the world changes my actual physiology, changes my body. It changes the chemicals in my body, right? Important to note. So when we look at all this, because I don't have that much time. How much time do I have? Was it 5, 10? 9 minutes, great. So when we look at our body, when we look at our mind, they're all connected, right? Your mindset creates your reality, period. Now, I've hypnotized all kinds of people. Anyone know who Jake Paul is? Well, I hypnotized him before he was even a boxer to become a boxer. He's a brilliant marketer. If you look at what he's doing, not be reactive, but understand the marketing strategy behind it, brilliant. He was the highest paid boxer last year in the whole world, right? He made like $43 million. Crazy, right? He's like 26. You look at that, you're like, well, how did someone do that, right? How did he go from a normal YouTuber like all these other YouTubers and all of a sudden just change careers and blow up? Mindset. You look at his confidence, right? I've worked with so many different people, and I can tell you this is the one thing. I understand the psychology of success. I understand that confidence is at the foundation, your ability to feel good and focus. Now, they did a study where they took about 100 people, and this is a sample size, and they took 2 actors. And they split it up just to make sure that it's not the actor that's influencing them somehow. And one, for half the group, they had a cold cup of coffee, the actor, and the other half, they had a warm cup of coffee. And what would happen is the actor would go around, he would be like, hey, can you please hold this for me for a second? Go down, tie their shoe. They'd be like, hey, thank you, grab the cup of coffee and leave. Then someone would walk around on the clipboard and be like, hey, we'll give you $20 if you read this and tell us how you feel about it. Now, 90% of those that had the warm cup of coffee in their hand said that the paragraph they read, same exact paragraph, made them feel feelings of love and warmth and joy. And 88% of them who had the cold cup of coffee in their hand said it made them feel the opposite. Cold, kind of chilling. The main character wasn't really sweet. They didn't really like how he acted. Same exact paragraph. Only difference is 30 minutes before, they were primed with either a warm cup of coffee or a cold cup of coffee. So priming your brain is actually more important to how you see the world than anything you've ever done. And we don't understand it. And why don't we understand it? Well, we don't understand it because you've never experienced it. No one's ever talked about it, right? You're always getting primed. If I tell you guys, hey guys, think of a check mark. What do you think about? Huh? No. We think of a check mark on shoes. You think of an M, what do you think about? Yellow. McDonald's, right? We have all these things that have primed us in our brain, right? We think of green, what do we think of? What? Light, money, right? Sun, whatever, grass. There's all these associations you've made that you're primed for. So I understood this. So when I was younger, I said, well, what can I do to make people more successful? So I started to prime myself, and I'll tell you what happened to me. I started to do this every single day, and my income during COVID, when it happened, when it started, this is when I started, my income went from my best month ever, January 2020, was $23,085. That's what my bank statement said. That was my income in January 2020, my best month. February, 25,000 something. I don't remember the exact amount, right? And I'm like really working hard. It took me 3 years to get to this income level, grinding my ass off. I start priming myself. I decide I'm going to go buy a new car because fuck it, right? So I go to buy my dream car. I have $4,000 in my bank account. I go to do it. I convince the dealer to literally give me the car, didn't sign contracts, didn't have a loan, nothing. I'm like, look, I'm going to Miami for a seminar. I was having a seminar in Miami. I'll be back in a few days. Just let me drive it home, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, it's my car. I'm showing all my friends, check out my new car. I didn't pay for it yet, right? I just convinced the dealer to do it. I'm like, don't worry, I'll pay whatever it takes. Doesn't matter. I had $4,000 something in my bank account. Okay, the car's $150,000. There's no way I'd have it. So then he calls me. I get in Miami, he calls me, he goes, listen, you need $45,000 down at the minimum if you want to be able to even get finance for this car. And I'm like, no worries, I'll give it to you when I'm back on Monday. This is Thursday. How the fuck am I going to get it? Most I ever made in a month was $25K. I didn't care though, I'm priming myself every day, fuck it. So I go, by the time I left Miami, I had made $75,000, the most I'd ever made, ever, in my whole life, by the weekend. I come in, I get in the car, I feel great. Next month, I chilled. My statement says $30,000. What happened? I got comfortable. I saw that, I realized my pattern, I became aware, I doubled down. Next month, 60, 80, 120, 180, 220, 260, and it just continued to grow. Why? I prime myself. So I decided, well, why don't I do this thing that I've been doing for me, for others? So I actually made a hypnosis audio for other people that normally I charge $200 for at the minimum, right? I give it to people for 200 bucks. I'd like to gift it to everyone here for free. The reason is I think everyone's actually going to change their life. So here's how you're going to get it from me, because there's no way I can give it to you. I can't be like, hey guys, here you go. It's not like a bag, right? You're going to have to get an audio. So you're going to go to my Instagram. You're going to follow me, and you're going to send me a DM, and you're going to say helium 10. I'm going to go in there, and please put your email there as well, helium 10 and your email, and we will go in there and we will make sure you get this audio. It's called Dominate Your Day. You listen to it 9 minutes a day. It literally hypnotizes you for success. At Marcel is my Instagram, M-A-R-C-Z-E-L-L, pronounced Marcel, not Marcel, so it's Marcel. If you say my name Marcel, you're not getting it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm going to take the last 5 minutes here for Q&A. Any questions at all about the talk, anything I said, my Instagram? None.
What is the best way to overcome the failures and how to reset yourself after the failure?
Great question. So he's like, what's the best way to overcome failures and how do you reset yourself when you fail? Great question. But when we fail, what happens? Two things can happen. One, I could feel really, really bad and I get into a negative state and I start focusing, right? I'm focusing on something wrong. I'm telling myself this is horrible. And then, you know, my physiology's absolutely probably horrible. And by the way, I failed a lot. Or you could just be like, fuck it. You get up, let's go again. I don't fail. What that means is, the meaning I give it is not I failed. This isn't working is what my brain says. I know for a fact I'm going to get there. I know for a fact that's my reality. So I'm not failing. This is just not working. So I'm hitting a wall. This is the wrong strategy. I must change my strategy. That's how you have to view failure. Failure only bothers you if you believe you're going to fail. If you believe you're going to fail, not succeed. Right? If I say, fuck your purple hair, and you don't have purple hair, no one's going to care. So if you fail and something's going negative, it's only going to trigger you because deep down in your mind you believe that's the outcome. If you believe you'll fail, then when you start to not get things your way, that's when it upsets you. But if you know for a fact, delusionally, you can either be delusionally confident or not, right? If you believe for a fact you're going to succeed, this isn't going to affect you anymore, which means you don't change the failure, change the belief of your success. How do I see myself in a year? Where do I see myself? If you see yourself failing, that's the problem. It's not the failure, it's where you see yourself going. Now, really quick question before I leave the stage. How many of you would say you're a 10 out of 10 in confidence? Show of hands. There we go, there we go. So the rest of you are a 10 out of 10 in confidence that you're not a 10 out of 10 in confidence. Just to show you how your brain works. You're all confident you're not confident. You're all confident you'll fail, or you're all confident you'll win. You decide what you want to believe. Confidence is a belief in something. What am I going to believe? Today, I want you guys to decide. Am I going to believe that I'll win, or am I going to believe that I'm going to lose? Whatever you believe will be your reality, right? As, I don't know, I think it's Henry Ford says, if you think you can or you can't, you're right. Right? So, on that note, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Send me that DM. I'm telling you now, I charge people $1 million a year to work with them one-on-one. They get one session a month. You're going to get this audio for free. I'm going to change your life. All you got to do is follow me on Instagram. Send me a DM. I'll be around for the next couple days. Come say hi. And thank you, guys. Awesome.
I hope you enjoyed that. Again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm going to be posting a lot more content here shortly, and I'm going to show you exactly how I personally make multiple 8 figures a year. I'm going to show you the process, the systems, and everything I did in order to get to the point I'm at now. If I were to start over again, it would take me less than 6 months to get to where I'm at today. So if you want to learn this, make sure you give it a thumbs up, you subscribe, comment below, let me know what you want to learn from me, and I'll see you in the next video.